Chapter 9, Section 2, this is solving systems of equations by elimination. Level 3. So, in fact, there's really not much difference between this and what was covered in the previous video. It's just if you look at the question, well, it looks kind of scary because it's got fractions all over the place. If you look at the steps, though, all of the steps except this one, okay, are exactly the same from before. Okay, but this extra step, what we're going to do is we're actually going to effectively get rid of all of the fractions just so that the system looks a little bit easier to deal with. Okay? But we're going to do the same thing. We're going to readjust by making all the terms line up nicely. We're going to choose a variable that we want to eliminate, and we'll multiply one or both so that they're equal by size. We'll add together and we will solve. So let's do that. All right. So I'm just going to realign everything, so I'm going to have all the x's and the y's on one side and the numbers on the other. So the first equation, this becomes positive 1/3 x plus 1/4 y equals negative 1/3. Okay. And the next one is 3x plus 1/2 y equals 11. Okay, so I've just rewritten this system so that all the terms are lined up. All right, before I choose which variable I want to eliminate, let's get rid of these fractions because this is kind of gross. So if you look at the first equation, we have a 3, a 4, and a 3 as, well, all of our denominators. So the lowest common denominator, of course, would be 12. So if I multiply both sides by 12, I should be able to get rid of all fractions. And here at the bottom, well, this is easy. There's only one denominator present, so that can easily be taken care of by multiplying both sides by 2. So remember, you can't forget to do both sides. So let's apply distributive law. 12 times 1/3, that's just 4, so I get 4x. 12 times positive 1/4, well, that's just 3, so I get 3y. And a negative times a positive, I know is going to be negative. And 1/3 of 12, that's just 4. Okay, so this is actually equation 1, but it just looks a lot simpler. Equation 2 becomes 6x. 2 times 1/2, that's just 1, so I get plus y equals, and that's just 22. Okay, so let's choose which variable we would like to eliminate, and it's totally up to you. It's whatever you think is easiest. If we wanted the x coefficients to match, we could multiply this equation by 3 and this equation, say, by -2, and then we would have a 12 here and a -12 there. That would work. But I'm going to actually eliminate the y's. Okay, this is a positive 3. This is positive 1. So I can actually achieve my goal by just multiplying equation 2 by -3. I actually don't need to multiply equation 1 by anything. It's not necessary. So equation 1 stays the same. Unless you want to multiply it by 1, which changes nothing. But this will give me -18x, and -3 times y is -3y. So notice how the coefficients for y are now equal by size, but opposite in sign. And this is -66. All right, we are home free. Now we can add the equations together, going down. All right, so what is 4 plus -18, or 4 minus 18? Well, that's just -14x. 3y plus -3y, that's just 0. Okay, so it's effectively gone. And then we have -4 plus -66, so just -4 minus 66. And there we go. So we can easily solve for x now. So divide everything by -14. Okay, and a negative over a negative is positive, but 70 divided by 14 is actually a nice number. It's just 5. So x is 5. So we've done almost all the work we need, but we just need to finish the system. So let's find y. Remember, to find y, we can use any equation we want. Well, I don't really want to go back up to these original ones up here because they have fractions in it. We can, it will work, but it's just more work. Let's pick something that looks relatively simple. Let's pick this one. Okay, this is when we first cleared out the fractions, but I actually didn't even have to do any further modifications. So I'm going to use this one right here to solve for y. So I'll do that one in black, why not? So this is 4x plus 3y equals negative 4. But I now know x is 5. X is no longer a mystery. So I'm going to replace x with what I've solved it as. That's just 20. Okay, so let's isolate. So we're going to subtract 20 from both sides. So that gives me 3y is equal to negative 24. And I can see where this is going. Divide both sides by 3. And negative 24 divided by 3 is negative 8. And there we go. We have solved the system. So not too bad. Just realign your equations so that everything lines up. And if you have fractions, just clear them out by multiplying by the lowest common denominator. And then it's exactly like the previous video. So hopefully that's clear. There you go.